Alabama has their new offensive coordinator. My brother in arms, Nick Sheridan, we were in the same quarterback class at Michigan, and he's one of my best friends in the world. And I do think Alabama would have been getting off to a really good start with Ryan Grubb remaining at OC because he's worked with Kalen DeBoer for 12 different years, I think at 4 different stops, something like that. But hey, the guy wanted to go try out the NFL. He's going to be the Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator. We said the next logical step, promote the guy you just brought in, coach tight end. Yeah. So it sounds like Nick Sheridan is going to work with the quarterbacks now, which is honestly where he belongs, and will likely call plays, even though, look, Kalen DeBoer is an offensive mind, so it's going to be his system. Mm-hmm. But Nick Sheridan has spent years under the brightest minds in the game. I thought he kind of got a raw deal at Indiana when Michael Penix Jr. got hurt, but Nick's going to get thrown into the fire. I'm really happy for him. What are your thoughts?
Look, I think it was a smart move. Obviously, you want to stick with the system that you have, a guy that's been around not only the play callers, and play calling is a team effort. If you've ever been on a headset, you understand that. But you don't have to go out and teach a new guy terminology. You don't have to worry about him coming in there and maybe trying to pollute or dilute the system that you have. Kalen DeBoer, obviously you feel confident in Nick being able to call the plays. Kalen can step in whenever. I brought up that it was the team effort, but continuity and stability, right? You're not having to change as much as you've had to change. You're not adding to what you have to change, if that makes sense. You're not making it harder on yourself. I thought maybe it'd be him and Jamarcus as co-offensive coordinators. Probably basically going to be like that anyway. You have one working with the quarterbacks, the other one working with the wide receivers. But this was a smart move. Keep it in-house, especially when you have an offensive-minded head coach. This makes this transition a little bit cleaner, even though it's hard, man. That was your right-hand guy with Ryan Grubb and then the O-line coach. But it was a smart move, and happy for Nick.
And, I mean, Jalen Milroe is coming back.
Yeah, I mean, you have a Heisman finalist coming back, but who's calling plays?
Yeah.
Who's calling plays? I feel like we're running into this problem a lot more than we used to. I don't want to get into half the season, all right, and then, no, I'm going to take it from you. No, you're going to call the plays. No, you do this. Let's go and cement this so we can move on.
Here's what will happen. Nick Sheridan will end up calling the plays. He will be the one that calls plays, but a lot of times he's going to be like, hey, coach, what do you like here? Hey, what do you think here? Game planning wise, obviously, Coach DeBoer is going to be involved in that. But I think he's going to give Nick his chance early to call the plays and be the one leading it. And if he has to step in, if there's something he doesn't like or something he wants to change, he can do that. But again, play calling is a team effort. Coaches have to look at different spots, whether you're in the booth, whether you're on the field. You come together before the play call, and then there's one voice at the end. I think that voice at the end will be Nick Sheridan until it's not.
Okay. Yeah, and in my experience with playing college football was it's not just the play calling on the field, because all the coaches are there. It's a 3-hour game. Anybody could call the plays. It's the game planning over the course of a week that when you're the head coach at Alabama.
When it comes down to it on the sideline where bullets are flying, one voice has to come in and one voice has to give.
You said we're seeing that a lot more. The reason we're seeing that a lot more is because guys are getting hired more and more because of their success as play callers. This happens on offense and defense, but it's especially on offense when you're talking about having to game plan. And we've seen guys, Kyle Shanahan just came out recently and said, if you got hired to be a head coach because you were a great play caller, then you probably shouldn't give up those duties.
That's what I said about Hugh Freeze.
But and that's what you said about Hugh Freeze.
But Kalen DeBoer hasn't been calling the plays.
He hasn't been. You look at someone like Jim Harbaugh, who did call plays at San Francisco, called plays the first couple years at Michigan, eventually gave those play calling duties up. And we've seen a bunch of guys. Ryan Day's trying to do this. Ryan Day's wants to give
who's my Pinocchio?
Wants to be a CEO type, and there's just a lot to deal with as a elite head coach of a power.
Yeah, eventually you do want to be Geppetto, and you want to have your own Pinocchio. A real boy. What's up, YouTube? Happy Valentine's Day. If you don't have anybody to go home with, you can go home with us. We can fall in love all over again. But if we're going to do that, you're going to need to hit that subscribe button. You're going to need to hit that like button, and you're going to have to pay for the first couple rounds of drinks.